Welcome, welcome everybody back to book, the Chaotic Book Lovers podcast. I'm so happy to see y'all. Honestly, the last time I spoke about my book, y'all. I did come on this podcast to talk about my book and what about it exactly. So last time we spoke on this podcast, at least because I have posted videos since then. I spoke about my book that's coming out this summer. Which, first of all, go follow the Instagram so you guys can keep up with me and the book so you guys can figure out release dates and everything like that. But today, I just want to talk to you guys about books and your book goals. Like, I want to talk book goals. Let's talk book goals, first of all, because we need to figure out how we're going to keep, what are our book goals for this month, for this year, for this month? What are book goals? What are goals in general? Um, yeah, and I'm also gonna have an episode that comes out right after this. That's going not right after, but like the next episode is most likely gonna be like how to hold yourself accountable to these goals. And so, we can hold ourselves accountable. So first of all, I just want to start out with what are goals? Goals are something that we wish to accomplish by a certain amount of time. Whether that is making this much money or doing this every single day for this many days, or in this case, reading this many books within a time period. And usually that's within a month or it is within a year. So we all have our yearly book goals, especially if you use apps like Fable, Storygraph, or Goodreads. They will ask you what is your goal for the year, so that way they can hold you accountable. They can try to hold you accountable for your reading goal. And you input your goal, and you try to work your way up to it. Now, there are also goals that's like how many books can I read a day? That Yeah. How many books can I read in a week? That is not a goal. That is a how many. That's kind of like a what can I do in a certain amount of time. A goal is a distinct number of things you want to get done within a certain period of time, or a certain thing you want to get in a time period. So you have to have a specific time period. So if you say like, oh yeah, 3 books this week, that's your goal. 3 books within 7 days or a week. Or in this case, my goal is 50 books this year. So that is 50 books in 365 days. So, yeah. So when it comes to making goals, how can we create our goals based off of things? For me, I base my goal off how much availability and how much time I'm gonna have. Last year, my goal was actually 100 books, and I completed that. I actually did 131 books. But this year, I know I'm gonna be extremely busy because my book is coming out, and I have a lot of things that I wanted to get done. I have a lot of things planned, so I chose 50 books. I cut it in half. Okay. So in this case, my goal specifically was based off what I knew I could do, what the availability to do, and I did not go over that. Now, I might up my goal to 100 later this year if I can surpass 50 by a great amount, like around 70, 80, and I can see if I can make it towards 100. But as of right now, the goal is 50, and I don't know if I'm going to go over that. I might not. I guess we will shoot together. So first of all, before we get into this, I want you guys to comment down below. What are your book goals? Because that, first of all, what you gotta do. How many books do you want to read in a month? And how many books do you want to read in a year? Let's start there. Okay? So I know you guys have definitely, if you're on side of Book Talk or BookTube, you have heard of a TBR, which is to be read. And people always say my monthly TBR, which are the books they expect to read in that month. So that is a certain amount of books. So for example, I don't remember how many books I said in mine. I think it was like 4 or 5. I think it was 4, right? Because it was 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it was 4 books. So I want to read 4 books within how many days in this month? Within 31 days. 4 books versus 31 days. See, that is a manageable goal. That is a completable goal. Because now, obviously, if I say 4 books in a week, that's also completable because that just depends on how much time you have. But I'm saying like 4 books an hour. Probably not the most realistic. You want to make your goals realistic, something you can accomplish, okay? So, yeah, I just want to, get it into your mind what are your goals, okay? And today, guys, we do have water because you guys know I'm always yapping and I usually don't have water near me. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Refreshing. So, now that we've figured out our goals, now we've figured out what we're going to be doing, let's just go and get the episode. Okay? So, like I said before, my goal for this year is actually 50 books to read within the next 365 days. And the reason why I picked 50 instead of 100 like I did last year is because my book is coming out. I've been talking about it on every single platform I'm on. My book is coming out, so obviously I'm not gonna have time to be out here, whatchamacallit, dilly dallying around reading 20 books a month like I used to. Which even then, I feel like I didn't even read that much. I feel like August was just that month where I read a whole bunch of books, thanks to Anna Huang. But yeah, I'm not gonna be out here reading 300 books. Come on now, let's be realistic. I just want to go ahead and put it out there. Everybody always tries to make it a competition. I always hear people saying, "Oh, well, book goals are useless because everybody makes it a competition and they're totally unrealistic." Well, first of all, is everybody making it a competition or are you making it a competition? Are you comparing yourself to others? First of all, reading is quite literally for fun. So you should not be comparing yourself to others when it comes to reading books. When you are reading, you should basically be doing it for you, not for anybody else, not to compete against anybody else. You should be reading because it's something you genuinely enjoy doing, okay? You should be reading because it's something that you find passionate, that you find joy in, that you find complete comfort in or interest in, okay? Whether that is self-help books, towards fantasy or dark romance books, okay? And everybody's gonna like different stuff, first of all. So a goal to read 50 romance books within the next year, that may differ from your goal to read 20 dark romance books in a, a month. Okay, so all goals are going to be different. All goals may seem unrealistic to some because that's just something they don't think they can accomplish, or just something they generally don't enjoy to do, but to others, it's very realistic. I've seen someone say, I want my goal to be 100 books, and somebody in their video commented, oh, that's unrealistic because who reads 100 books a year? It's always a competition between all booktubers. And I have never once, personally, on my For You page, and I watch a whole bunch of booktubers. I come across a whole bunch of booktubers. Never have I ever come across a page where someone's like, well, this person read this many books, but I read many more. I'm better. No, because nobody's finding the competition except the people who genuinely are finding a competition, who generally just don't see how it can be done. Which I get it, you're skeptical. Like, oh my gosh, 100 books in a year, nobody can do that. But I did it. My friends have done it. I've seen booktubers do it, book talkers, bookstagrammers. I've seen them all read 100 books in a year, or maybe more. Okay? People are going to the news reading 300 books a month, okay? A year. So some goals may seem unrealistic to some, but to others, they are not. And not every single thing is a competition, especially when it comes to reading. A lot of people find reading because it's just something they genuinely enjoy doing. So when it comes to talking about book goals, first of all, their goal is their goal. To tell them that it's stupid or that nobody should have a goal that large is, first of all, very wrong of you because it is something that they want to accomplish. It is a goal for a reason. It's something they have not yet accomplished, but they want to accomplish. They aspire to accomplish. So you putting them down saying that they cannot accomplish this because it's unrealistic may make it unrealistic to them and may make this harder for them because they may feel very highly discouraged within reading their books. Okay? So I just feel like when it comes to this, we just need to be more thoughtful. Okay? Saying that you want to read 100 books a year is great. I'm happy for you. Saying you want to read 150 books a year, that is great. I am so happy for you. Okay? It's not unaccomplishable. It is not, unrealistic. Okay? People have read 150 books a year. Some people have read 400 books a year. Some people have read 100 books a year. Or some people only have read one book a year. And no matter what your book goal is, or how many books you finished last year or the year before that, or even last month or this month, congratulations. It takes a lot of effort to physically pick up a book and read it. Okay, you have to pick it up, you have to select it, you have to read each page, you have to acknowledge the word, you have to process the words, you have to think about what you're reading, and then most of the time people go and make reviews. And when you make a review, you have to recap everything you read to put it into your own words, what you think the book was about and how you genuinely felt about the book. So reading is subjective. What the heck? It just depends on what you enjoy and what you think. Okay? So you should not be out here reading 50 books a year because you want to beat Jennifer. Okay, Molly, you don't need to read 50 books a year because Jennifer read 40, 45, and you want to beat her. That's not what reading is. Reading is generally for fun, okay? Do you think we have all these different genres, all these different books, all these different subgenres, all these different tropes, all these different plots, if it was not subjective, if it was not to be genuinely enjoyed? Are you truly enjoying a book if you are being competitive towards it? If you, for example, pick up Shatter Me, you're like, well, Jennifer read this book and she rated it a 4 star, so I bet I can complete it and rate it a 5 star. First of all, your ratings, I see a lot of people think ratings also are a competition. Ratings are not a competition. Ratings are literally your personal opinion. Okay? I've seen people rate Icebreaker 5 stars and I rated it 1. Okay? So reading is subjective. Reading is your opinion. You don't pick up a history book if you genuinely dislike history, unless you're like assigned for it or something. But nobody's gonna pick up a history book if they genuinely dislike history and then sit here and say that they did a better job than someone else when it came to reading. Or they read faster than someone else when it came to reading. Or that they read more books when it came to reading. Because that's not what reading is. Your goals are genuinely just your goals. They are your personal goals. You're not comparing yourself to anyone else. These are not anyone else's goals. These are your book goals. So, for the year 2025, I just want to put out there that this year is going to be your year. You're going to accomplish your goals. And even if you don't, that is okay. Some goals are not always accomplished. That is fine. And I'm not saying this in like, oh my gosh, like, what are you trying to say? I'm saying that not all reading goals, especially reading goals, are going to be accomplished. Reading is a very, I want to say hard because it's actually really easy once you get the hang of it. But I want to say getting into a new book is going to be difficult. Like, you have to learn the new characters, you have to learn the setting, especially if you're one of the fantasy girls who will take 30 pages, 3 chapters, 3 pages of world building before you get to the full genuine story. And I know sometimes that can be extremely boring. So sometimes you may start off a book that's boring and make you a slow reader. And then we also go through our reading slumps. And when we go through our reading slumps, guess what? That makes it even harder to pick up a book, to complete a book. So it's subjective. It's not a competition and it's your personal goal, your personal opinion. Okay? Now, I know this episode is not extremely long, but I just want to sit here and I want to come out here to you guys my book goal. I want to tell you guys that your book goals are your book goals and that you're not comparing yourself to anyone else this year. Okay? We're focusing on ourselves, for one, in general, and we're also focusing on ourselves when it comes to reading. Now, honestly, I can see that sometimes paying attention to others and comparing ourselves to others is easier, but as someone has always told me, comparison is the thief of joy, okay? And if you are comparing yourself to others, first of all, I need you to pray. I need you to pick up your Bible so that way you can defeat this comparison. You need to speak to God. And yes, before you guys come out here and talk about some, oh my goodness, you bring Jesus and everything. I do. And I'm not ashamed about it, okay? So you guys need to pick up your Bible. You need to read the Bible. You need to pray about your comparison. You need to pick up a book again. You gotta try again. Because this is not about comparing yourself. This is about genuinely enjoying yourself, genuinely having fun. And I hope that this video, this podcast episode, generally motivated you to pick up a book and fully read it through and to fully enjoy it and to fully find joy in reading the book and not compare yourself to anyone else when it comes to reading said book. That's all for today's episode. Sorry that it's a shorter episode, but I really just didn't want to come up here and tell you guys that your book goals are your book goals and you're not comparing yourself to others this year. This is a new year. This is the year about us where we're not going to be comparing ourselves to others because guess what? Others may not even take the time to acknowledge the fact that you are comparing yourselves to them. You may even know that. They're just living their life and their best life at that. So that means you need to do the exact same. You need to live your best life. Not because you want to beat them in living your best life, but because you just genuinely want to have your best life. You just genuinely want to enjoy your best life, okay? So, with that being said, I hope that this helped you today. I hope that this motivated you to pick up a book, to read a book, to finish a book, to do anything, to set your goal. Listen, if your goal is 10 books this year, congratulations if you complete that. If your goal is 1 book this year, that is a big accomplishment to pick up a book and to finish it. So no matter what your goal is this year, no matter what anyone else's goal is this year, your goal is your personal goal on which you think you can personally accomplish, not what you think someone else can personally accomplish, and that you want to be on the level of someone else. That's all for today's episode. Love you so much. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next video or next episode. Bye, kisses, and goodbye.